They each paid cold, hard cash.
We reduced rate ski passes.
$500 to ski all year round. They're usually around $1,000.
Then it all went downhill fast.
And the ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
We are all in the same exact position.
No, you're not. You have to find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped.
This is Judge Judy. Victoria Vehman, Jonathan Friedland, and Nicholas Shore are suing Vanessa de Blasio for selling them fraudulent ski passes.
Judge, this is case number 109 on the calendar in the matter of Vehman, Friedland, Shore versus de Blasio. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, please.
Miss Vehman, are you going to speak for the three of you?
I'm going to do my best, yes. And they're going to chime in.
Well, no, they won't chime in. Nobody chimes in here. We don't just hop in. We just have a spokesperson for a group. It's tidier that way. And
Agreed.
From what I gather, you had most of the contact with the defendant. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So prior to your interaction with her over these friends and family reduced rate ski passes, I gather that you did not know the defendant.
Not personally, no. I met the defendant through a coworker.
You met her personally through a call?
Back in May when we were all socially distanced.
Is today the first day you met her in person?
That's correct.
So all of your other dealings with her had been over the internet?
Correct.
Through a coworker who somehow had interactions with her. And this is what your case is about. Miss de Blasio said that she could secure discount rate friends and family ski passes. And you said, oh, that's great, because I ski, and I assume your other two friends ski as well. Where do you ski?
Well, we ski all over California, but our home base, per se, is Mammoth Mountain.
Okay, and what are the name of these ski passes?
They're called Icon, and we're all returning pass holders for Icon, so we know the pass very well.
How much is the usual rate for an annual pass? You bought annual passes, correct?
That's correct, for the season. And they're usually around $1,000.
Per ticket?
Per season pass, correct.
How much was the defendant offering to sell them for?
$500 for no blackout dates, which means that you can ski any day of the year, including holidays, and then $400 for blackout dates, which means you cannot ski for the holidays.
Well, so that's a pretty good deal. That's a 50% reduction.
That's right, yes.
Or more, if
yes.
you decide to give up holidays.
Exactly.
What did you choose?
$500.
Friends.
Likewise, both Jonathan Friedland and Nick Shore paid Vanessa for $500, and then Matt Miwa, who couldn't be here with us today, chose $400 with blackout dates.
Okay, well, he's not here today.
That's right.
Is that correct, gentlemen, that each of you paid the defendant $500 for a year-round ski pass that did not exclude holidays, so you could ski during the holidays?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How did you make your payment to the defendant?
I paid Victoria via Venmo, and then she transferred that money to Vanessa.
And then I paid Vanessa directly through Zelle.
Vanessa is Mr. Blasio.
Yes.
And how did you pay the $1,000?
Through Zelle, Bank of America. I first Zelled or wired Vanessa, the defendant, $500.
And what about?
Yes. So first on June 3rd.
For you?
Yes, because I realized that it had been legit. It was a correct process.
Just a second.
Okay.
You sent her yours.
Yes.
Then he sent you, what is his name?
Jonathan.
What's your name, sir?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you sent Miss Vehman your $500.
Yes, that's correct.
And she sent it to the defendant.
Correct.
Via Zelle. Correct, Miss Vehman?
Correct, Your Honor.
Personal account? How did you address it when you sent it to her?
The description, you mean, Your Honor?
Yes. Does it have her name on the account?
Yes, it does. Yes. It has her name, her phone number. I can show it to you right here if you'd like.
I'd like to see it.
Yes. Right here. Name, phone number, June 4th, Icon Pass.
Okay. And Vanessa, is that your phone number?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you received from these three people, to your name and your account, $1,500. Is that correct?
Not from the three people, only from two. That was $1,500. I never received any money from Jonathan directly.
I don't care whether you received it directly or from these three people, you received $1,500.
No.
For 3 ski passes.
No.
Well, she sent you money from Jonathan.
Correct.
But from these three people in total, you received $1,500.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what they were purchasing were Icon ski passes.
That's right.
And the Icon ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
Were each of you notified that the Icon ski passes were fakes?
Yes, Your Honor. We all three got this fraudulent email.
Okay, now, so you're out $1,500 and you have no passes.
That's right.
And the money was forwarded to you, and they have no ski passes. And your defense is that you were duped just like they were.
Yes, Your Honor. We are all in the same exact position.
No, you're not. No, you're not. They gave you money.
Mm-hmm.
They have no passes. If you were a dope that got duped, go sue somebody.
So
if you were a dope that got duped, go sue, go find the person who duped you.
He disappeared, Your Honor.
I'm going to repeat that one more time. You go find the guy that duped you right now. They got duped by you.
That's not true, Your Honor.
They sent you money.
That's not true, Your Honor.
They sent you money. Yes, they did. They said, we just got through that.
Your Honor,
they
that's
sent
not
it
true.
to your bank. No, that is true. That's 100% true.
With all due respect, Your Honor,
they sent it to
no,
your
it's
bank.
not.
Are you disputing what they just showed
I
me?
am disputing the context in which she agreed to send over money.
Really?
Yes.
You're disputing the context.
Correct. I did not.
Go. 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to context.
Absolutely.
She
reached out to me. She reached out to me via Facebook. The original post I do have here if you want to see it. It states in the...
I don't.
Okay. It states...
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to see it, and don't tell me what it states.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is you have to go find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped. They sent you money. They can touch you. They can see you. You go find the person who disappeared that duped you. Meanwhile, they sent you money. You have to return their money. It gives you a greater incentive to go find
With all due respect, Your Honor, you said that I had 3 minutes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500.
You said I had 3 minutes to
done.
talk, and then you didn't give it to me.
We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Unfortunately, I guess we live in a time where people don't have to take responsibility for the adult decisions that they make.
We knew exactly what we were paying for. She just got duped, just like Judge Judy said.
Lesson learned.
I really thought it was a good deal, and I've gotten college discount passes before where they were discounted, and I thought this was one of those deals.
Mine was also fraudulent.
Icon Pass basically sent us an email stating it was a fraudulent purchase with the fraudulent credit card.
We all got the same email.
We're really thankful that after 7 months of just our heads spinning with this crazy story, we're
Just super thrilled with Judge Judy's decision, and I'm ready to get out there and shred.
Just be careful with you, Ty.
ready to get on the mat, right, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lloyd versus Lloyd, step forward.
18-year-old Cody Lloyd is suing his father, Randall Lloyd, for the value of a car he sold illegally.
Tell me your first name.
Cody?
Cody, you are 18,
Yes.
and this is your dad.
Yes.
I don't think you lived with your father all your life. Is that correct?
No. He was a weekend dad. He was a weekend dad until I moved in with him permanently on August 14th.
Of 2013?
2011.
2011. But you were a working kid, saved up some money, enough money to buy a car.
Yes.
And you weren't 18 yet, so you couldn't have the car title solely in your name. I don't think your father disputes any of those facts. You spent your money. It was money that you earned from work.
Yes.
What kind of a car did you purchase?
It was a 2001 Lexus ES 300.
Did you go with your dad to find it?
It was just on the corner outside of our house. It was for sale on the corner outside of a busy street. And I just saw it one day coming in, and I wanted to buy it, yes.
How much did you pay for it?
$4,200.
And you had that money in a bank?
Yes.
What kind of work had you done to save up that money?
I worked for insulated pipe shields for about a year and a half.
School after that?
I go to Folsom Lake College right now.
Great. So this is what the case is about. You went to live with your father in 2011, purchased this car with your own money. Your father, for some reason, was out of town, and according to your father, you invited some friends over who sadly trashed your house.
Yes.
At that time, your father was very disappointed in you, and instead of turning the car over to you when you became 18, he kept the car. You want your car back. Where's the car?
Sold the car.
When did you sell it? And show me proof that you sold it.
I don't have proof. I got rid of the car a couple weeks ago.
You know I don't believe you. And I'm telling you right now, Mr. Lloyd, before we even start, because you said that to me, I don't even think I like you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, as somebody who's raised a lot of children, one thing I know is every time you go away and there is a free house, there is a party.
And later today,
Other than the plaintiff, who else lives there?
A single girl lives above the plaintiff.
And has she paid her rent consistently during the pandemic?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're very lucky.
Cody Lloyd says his father, Randall Lloyd, illegally sold his home caused during a party thrown by Cody.
At some point, you knew that your son wanted his car. If I believed that you sold it, then you're just a nasty, vicious man. So I don't know who you think you're getting over on, but it sure isn't me. How many children does your father have, Cody?
3.
3. Are you the oldest, youngest?
I'm in the middle.
Do any of his other children live with him?
My sister Kelly, she's my twin. She lives with him. And I have a half-sister named Allison. She lives in Orville.
So one child lives with him.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has that child lived with him?
Ever since I've been there, since August 14th.
Well, as somebody who's raised a lot of children, one thing I know is every time you go away and there is a free house, there is a party. Now, sometimes those parties get out of hand, but that doesn't mean, Mr. Lloyd, that you can't steal your son's property. Wasn't your money that purchased the car? Wasn't your car to sell? Your name may have been on the car just for the purposes of convenience until he turned 18. You had no right to sell it. You had no right to use it in any way. None at all. Now, if I can't return the car to him because I have no power to do that, because I have a feeling that whatever I say you're going to have an answer for, I'm going to award him the money that he paid for it, which is $4,200. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, Mr. Lloyd, because to claim for thousands of dollars for the destruction of your home, I'm dismissing it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,200. The counterclaim's dismissed. Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was graduation night. I just wanted to have a couple friends over. It got out of hand.
He passed out, and there was like over 100 people, and he didn't know but a few of them.
I cleaned up what I could before I fell asleep.
It was gone. It was trashed. He was still drunk.
I feel bad everything like that happened. I wish just a couple people came over and that was it.
Tough love, yeah.
I don't want to sound cold, but not trusting anybody, I don't know. That sounds evil.
Don't leave your kids at home alone.
All parties in the matter of Nielsen versus LaHome. Step to the podium, please.
Alexander Nielsen is suing his former landlord, Mary LaHome, for wrongfully withholding his security deposit.
Mr. Nielsen, you were a tenant of the defendants for almost 2 years, according to your complaint. When COVID struck, according to you, you had a conversation with, either in person or by text, and indicated to her that you could not continue to pay the rent that you were paying, which was $2,000 a month. According to you, the defendant agreed, because of your work situation and the pandemic, to reduce your rent to $1,500 a month, which financially you could no longer afford to pay rent. I assume you either went to stay with family, or you'll tell me in a moment, and the defendant kept your security deposit. She says the security deposit was for the difference between the $2,000 a month rent you were supposed to pay and the $1,500 that you actually did pay, and that there was no agreement that you would be able to pay a reduced rent because of the pandemic. How many apartments do you have?
Just the one building, there's 3 apartments in there.
Are they all rented?
Yes.
Other than the plaintiff, who else lives there?
A single girl lives above the plaintiff, and then...
Just a second, what's her rent?
Her rent is $29.50, but it's a 2-bedroom apartment.
And has she paid her rent consistently during the pandemic?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who was the other tenant that you
The
have?
other tenant is on the top floor. It's another 2-bedroom. It's a husband and wife, and they have paid their rent consistently.
You're very lucky.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You agreed to reduce his rent. You say, yes, but there were conditions. I'd like to see your proof of conditions.
Unfortunately, he dropped off my phone.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Alexander Nielsen is suing his former landlord, Mary Lahome, for wrongfully withholding his security deposit.
Now, would you please tell me, Mr. Nielsen, on what date did you advise the defendant that, before I get to that, what kind of work do you do?
I do digital design modeling in the automotive industry.
Do you work for someone or yourself?
I work for someone.
Were your hours reduced by the company during the pandemic?
Yes.
How long have you worked for this company?
About 4 years.
And your work hours went from what to what?
They went from a bit of overtime to actually regular time.
So you lost your overtime?
Primarily, yes.
You were lucky.
I am.
Are you still working for the company?
Yes.
Where did you move to when you left the defendants?
I'm staying at family's place.
Would you tell me about the date and the conversation that you had with the defendant about reducing your rent because your work hours had been reduced?
Sure. Yeah, it was end of May, and I had reached out stating that due to the pandemic and my circumstances, as you've noted so already, that it wasn't viable as a month rent. And I'm very appreciative that I've, been able to stay here, and I like the place. I don't have any complaints with anything, but I can't continue to pay at this full price. And I asked if it was feasible to reduce the rent to $1,500 a month for a few months, and that was my ask of the landlord, and she explicitly agreed via text to that.
May I see the texts?
Sure.
Unless you don't dispute that. Unless you don't dispute, Ms. Lohm, that you agreed to reduce his rent to $1,500 a month for a couple of months. In the texts.
Yes, but I had conditions, and one condition was...
Okay, well, just a second. I'll hear you if you say yes, but there were conditions. I'll see them in the text.
So the message that she sent was June 3rd. The months for the reduced rent were June and July.
June 3rd, okay, for 2 months. Okay, $1,500 for 2 months. I have to see the email, the text right before that. Where are the texts right before that?
I have that on my phone, I believe. I don't know if that one is.
Sure. Well, I need it right before that, but that's just a statement.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Want Justice on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Are you able to see if I put the phone? I don't think I have the one prior written. I have it in the text on my phone. Is that okay?
Do you have it on your phone? You can look on your phone, sir. Yes, of course.
Okay, so the message immediately before the $1,500 for 2 months?
You can put it up there and I can read it,
Great.
Sir. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Ms. Lohm, that is crystal clear that you agreed to reduce his rent for 2 months to $1,500. Now you say yes, but there were conditions. I'd like to see your proof of conditions.
Unfortunately, all my text messages to Alex and from Alex have completely dropped off my phone. I took my phone.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
That's unfortunate. You owe him $1,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy. Divorce kills a catered party.
I don't have the complete contract.
Because it wasn't your contract.
There's a little bit of a story here.
I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
Judge Judy.
She didn't give me a chance to give my side of the story at all.
I think she's incredibly clear-headed and very concise in her interpretation and judgment.
I asked for documentation, that he would get me some pay stubs, some sort of evidence, which he never did.
She asked, and I provided her with information which she just claimed she didn't receive.
He was having a, financial hardship.
I mean, I feel like regardless of whatever moratorium there is, if I was financially capable of paying a reduced rent, I felt like that was the moral thing to do.
It's rented out.
I'm glad it's over.
This case reads as almost a mini-series.
From Matchmaker.
The friend that you brought over and the defendant developed an affection for each other.
To Minister.
When I got myself ordained on January 1st, I thought I was helping out.
And after the reception.
A fraudulent wedding.
Deception?
He refused to sign the marriage certificate.
Why didn't you sign it?
This is Judge Judy. James Potts is suing his former landlord, April McDermott, for car expenses and the return of his security deposit.
Judge McDermott, parties have been sworn in. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
Mr. Potts, this case reads a little bit from your complaint and from Ms. McDermott's answer as almost a mini-series. From what I gather, you rented a guest house on Miss McDermott's property. In what year did you do that, sir?
2019, Your Honor.
And you are a veteran.
Yes, ma'am.
And from what I gather from your complaint, the Veterans Affairs paid not only some of the rent, but also paid the security deposit for the first several months you were there. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
How many months did the VA pay rent?
They paid for June, July, August, September, and November.
June, July, August, September. What about October?
October also, I'm sorry.
And November. So the VA paid for 6 months.
That's correct.
And the security deposit.
Correct.
Just give me the month in 2019 that you moved in.
June.
June. And when did you move out?
I moved out February 4th of 2020.
So December and January, just follow me, were the only 2 months that you personally were responsible for rent.
That's correct.
Did you pay December's rent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he pay December's rent?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he pay January's rent?
No, Your Honor.
How much did you pay in January?
In January, I started paying the rent in December.
Just no.
Okay.
Tell me, Mr. Potts, let's not play with each other. You know, I'm smart.
Yes, you are.
May not be youthful and lithe anymore, but I am smart. How much did you pay for January's rent?
The total was about $900 because I started paying December's rent in November, and between
Oh, no,
November,
no.
I understand.
How much did you pay in January? If you can't give me an answer, I'm going to ask her.
I did.
How much did you pay in January?
In January, I paid about $800, I believe it was.
How much did he pay in January?
$150.
Yeah. And you moved out in February.
February 4th.
And the total rent was $1,200 a month. So you paid $1,200 in December. So you paid a total in rent for this guest house of $1,350. Now, while you were there, two things happened while you were living in the guest house. First, you brought a friend over to visit you, and the friend that you brought over and the defendant and decided to get married. They asked you, because I assume they felt that you were the reason that they found each other, if you would get ordained as a minister so that you could perform the ceremony, and you could do that online. Also correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
In what month did you become an ordained person so that you could perform their wedding ceremony?
That was in January of 2020.
Just for my own purposes, would you explain the process to me, how that works? Do you have to fill out forms? Do you have to pay a fee? What do you have to do? And
I went on.
How did you find it?
I did a little bit of research, and I found Universal Life Church did online ordinations. You apply, there's no fee, and you become ordained.
And did you do that?
I did that.
And did you get a certificate?
I did, Your Honor.
Do you have it?
I do.
I'd like to see it because that's part of her counterclaim. Okie dokie. And when did you perform the ceremony?
That was on January 23rd, Your Honor.
Also, in addition to doing this mitzvah of putting these two lovely people together, that means a good deed, putting these two people together, you also bought $1,000. Also correct?
Also correct, Your Honor.
What kind of car was it?
A 2005 Chevrolet Classic.
So you bought a 15-year-old car from her?
Yes.
For $1,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
In what month did you buy the car?
I purchased the vehicle in August. Your Honor, if I may?
Yes.
In July, the vehicle was sitting undriven, and I noticed that the tags were expired, so I offered as a show of faith, because I'd had an issue with the car. It was disabled. I offered in a show of faith to pay for the registration, to make the registration current, so that she would allow me to rent the car from her.
I heard the story. You're a person of very good faith. You ultimately purchased this car from her for $1,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's another part of your lawsuit. So you want two things. You want your security deposit back, which was $1,200. She acknowledges that she got the security deposit of $1,200. Her defense to that is you didn't pay the security deposit. The VA paid the security deposit, so you shouldn't get the security deposit back, even though there was no damage to the apartment. And you owed money for the money. She used part of the security deposit. That's your defense to the security deposit portion, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Trying to simplify this mini-series so that it doesn't become a tone. The second part of your lawsuit is, while you bought this 15-year-old car that was being not driven with expired tags, you say that this woman is so misguided or damaged that she agreed to pay for any mechanical trouble you had with the car, and you had mechanical trouble with the car, which cost you thousands, which you want her to be responsible for. That's the second part of your lawsuit.
My request for the repairs on the vehicle were in lieu of receipt of the title, which I've never received.
Why don't you go and get the title? Did you give him a bill of sale? Did you give him a bill of sale?
I have the bill of sale, Your Honor. After I would refuse to give him the $1,200 back, he also refused to sign the marriage certificate. He wouldn't pick up the bill of sale or the title.
Just a second. Do you have it with you?
I do.
The bill of sale?
Yes.
Give it to him. Now get a title. Now you have the bill of sale. Could you put that bill of sale up there on the evidence desk so I can see it? Take down your ministry. Okay, that's dated September 20th, 2019. Okay, we're going to need some more specificity on that. You're going to have to put on that, Miss McDermott, the VIN number on the car. Do you have anything else? Do you have the title to the car? Are you the registered owner of the car?
Yes, Your Honor, I have the title. My mother was the registered owner, but she signed it over to me and also included a letter that she went with Mr. Potts to the DMV to pay the back registration so that the car would be not taken for unpaid registration, and he was supposed to turn the registration over to his name.
You want to give him the title to the car?
Yes.
Along with the note?
Yes.
Very good. Now he has all of that and the car. She's not paying for your repairs, sir. You understand that?
I do understand.
Okay.
Your Honor.
And Your Honor?
Perfect. And you what?
He drove the unregistered vehicle in my mother's name to a casino and received...
No, just a sec. Just a sec.
Okay.
Come up. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Right now, I'm taking care of Mr. Potts.
Okay.
Who, his 2 months' rent that he should have paid for the 2 months that he was there is $2,400. He paid a total of $1,350, which means that he owes you.
I have a detail of what I paid for December and January.
Your Honor, if I may?
You're going to have to show me, sir, what you paid in total, because the VA paid up until through November. So it's December and January.
They paid
December and January. No, they paid.
They paid a graduated amount. I was partially responsible for the rent from August, September, October, and November.
How much did you pay her?
My share was $300, $400, $500, and $600, I believe, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor. In December, when they stopped paying his full amount, he was having a hard time paying the rent.
Just a second. Were you getting a check from the VA?
They start out paying the full amount of $1,200. As the months progress, they start paying less, and he starts paying a portion. December, they stopped paying altogether. He was struggling. We lowered the rent to $850. I gave him every 2 weeks when he got paid to pay $425. He did not follow through with that. I have the return of deposit here showing exactly what monies he owes and the total of what was used from the deposit.
Okay, now this is where you're in trouble, Miss McDermott. $1,200 in a deposit. I'm eliminating the $60 cleaning fee. Rent owed on 127 not paid. $425. Per lease, extra money for an extra person, I'm not bothering with that. If he had somebody else living there and you let that happen, let it happen. And by the way, it couldn't have bothered you that much because you let him marry you in January, right?
Right.
Rent rebate to take money on a cruise that he did not use, came back on a cruise and borrowed money from family and friends. That's ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
While it may be true that the VA paid the security deposit, he's a veteran. Between the two of you, he has more of a right to that money, certainly, than you do as a stranger.
James Potts says his former landlord, April McDermott, is withholding his security deposit and the title to a car he bought from her. April is countersuing James for an unpaid parking ticket and for performing a fraudulent wedding.
Okay, so he owes you $425 for rent. Deducting that, you gave him back nothing. Is that right? You gave him back nothing?
No.
Okay, so you owe him $785 for his security deposit. Because while it may be true that the VA paid the security deposit, he's a veteran. I assume you're not.
No.
That was a benefit that he got, that between the two of you, he has more of a right to that money, certainly, than you do as a stranger.
Sure.
And the Veterans Administration may come back to you one day and say to you, sir, you owe us $785 from the security deposit that we paid for you, but right now, as between the two of you, it's your money.
Your Honor,
$785.
The representative for the VA told me that when I move out, the deposit would be
just
mine.
a second. Just a second.
Okay.
Just
okay.
a second.
I'm sorry.
I just said that to you, and you can't tell me what the VA said to you. That's hearsay.
Okay.
I've deducted the rent that you owe her.
Okay, I have a detail. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have a detail of the monies that I did pay.
Go. Go.
It's on the bottom here.
What's on the bottom there?
For December, the rent that I paid on November 18th was $400.
Now, I'm talking about for all the months. My shit, $400,
Right.
said you took $100, paid $300. Okay, $785. We're done. That's what you get. Now, let's get to Potts. Had the car. Is your claim that he got 2 parking tickets that were your responsibility and or your mother's responsibility? Do you have proof of those parking tickets?
Yes, Your Honor. It was just one ticket.
How much?
$200.
Did you pay it?
No, ma'am.
You did not pay it?
No, ma'am.
Who paid it?
It is not paid.
It's almost a year old, and it's not for you anyway. It's in the name of Joyce McDermott. That's your mother.
My mother.
Well, that's unfortunate for your mother. $785. Now, the other part of your counterclaim is a fraudulent wedding. After this kerfuffle that you had with the defendant, Mr. Potts, about the rent, and I assume that back in late January or February there was a kerfuffle over rent, did you not sign their marriage certificate?
I was offered by the defendant to trade the title to the vehicle for my signature. In the ensuing time frame, I did a little bit of research myself because when they had asked me to perform the ceremony, she told me that Richard would do the research and they would pay all the fees. So when I got myself ordained on January 1st, I thought I was helping out. And then after I had moved out and I was doing a little bit of research.
There were no fees.
There was a fee required by the County of San Diego for a deputy marriage committal. I believe it was the end of March, well after the ceremony. So the fee of the $80 fee. So I could not legally sign the document.
Your Honor, he did not know that at the time. The marriage was in January and the document was never signed.
Yeah, I know it was never signed, but even if he signed it, it wouldn't have been legitimate, is what he's saying.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have an ethical and moral obligation not to extort something in exchange for signing the marriage certificate.
I was not extorting, Your Honor.
Why didn't you sign it?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. James Potts is accusing his former landlord, April McDermott, of withholding his security deposit and the title to a car he bought from her.
Now, did you and your mate subsequently marry?
We are scheduled to marry again on November 13th of this year.
Where?
Las Vegas.
And you have that all set up
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. With somebody who is licensed to perform weddings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have family and friends coming?
One daughter and son-in-law.
Was anyone there?
14 family members that came from Arizona and California. And that's why the original was not signed that day.
Who went?
My fiance.
The plaintiff is
plaintiff too? And all of our family members. We paid for a cruise for 3 days to Mexico for everybody, 16 people.
Did you pay, sir?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
They took you. They took you as a guest.
Yes, Your Honor, along with the other 14.
I don't care about anybody else. Well, there are other family members. You're not a family member. They took you as a guest. When did she ask you to sign the marriage license? On what date?
When I asked her for the title to my car, I have that.
On what
here.
date?
I believe the first time that she asked was on February 19th of 2020.
And where did that conversation take place?
In text, Your Honor.
May I see them?
You may.
I actually think that was pretty nasty, Mr. Potts, not to sign the marriage certificate. You had nice people. You lived in a nice guest house, practically for free, with the VA picking up the majority of the tab. They were nice people. They took you on a vacation. They paid for it.
They didn't ask me if I wanted to go. I'd never wanted to go on a cruise, Your Honor.
Well, I think, sir, that you have a sign on to officiate at a wedding, not to extort something in exchange for signing the marriage certificate.
I was not extorting, Your Honor.
Why didn't you sign it?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, why didn't you sign it? In February. Just tell me why you didn't sign it in February.
Because in February...
Give me the reason.
When she was in Hawaii, she told me that she would pay me my deposit, she would give me my title when she got back. When I asked her for the deposit and the title...
Why didn't you sign the marriage certificate the first time? You're supposed to sign it the day of the marriage.
Right, Your Honor.
I'm an officiant. I have performed hundreds of weddings in my lifetime as a judge. The day of the wedding, the day that I perform the ceremony, I sign it, I put it in an envelope, I put a stamp on it, and the first thing I do is to put it in a mailbox. So I'm certain that I have fulfilled it.
Your Honor, this was my first ceremony ever. I was just ordained on January 1st, as you know.
Good. That just cost you $785. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy in Vegas.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
What did you find when you got there?
My car on top of 9 fence posts and chain link fence wrapped underneath of it.
He says he wasn't even there. It doesn't get easier. It's just going to get harder.
Judge Judy.
I believe she was a fair judge. I don't believe she was being really fair this time.
I do feel Judge Judy was fair in the judgment.
There were a lot of details that were not brought out.
I do feel that there was some stuff I didn't get to address as well, but she did the best she can.
I told her I was going to be late with the rent.
Well, he's a gambler.
I was having a problem getting it.
He had gambled the money away that he was supposed to pay the rent with.
I was going to go and get the rent when she told me to get out.
And I had just had it at that point.
I don't know if it was fair, but I felt that that was an appropriate response to how I was being treated.
That was my mistake. I should have had it signed right away, directly after the marriage, so I take that on my own shoulders.
After making a mistake,
For 3 years, you've been accepting $944 from her.
landlords demand money.
Where do you expect her to get $16,000 from? She's a Section 8 housing person.
But the judge isn't moved by this mother-daughter team.
I assume you would say, Mom, that's the wrong rent.
English is not her first language.
Money is her secondary language.
This is Judge Judy. April Walsh and her mother, Mon Lynn, are suing Mon's former tenant, Maria Nunez, for unpaid rent.
Judge, this is case number 71 on the calendar in the matter of Walsh, Lynn versus Nunez. Parties have been sworn in.
Miss Walsh, are you going to speak for your mother?
Yes, I would. I'd like to try doing that.
Okay, because it is your claim that your mother, who owns some rental property, is owed money by the defendant. And you state in the complaint that you manage the property for her.
Yes, I assist. I'm more like an in-house counsel as needed. So when she needs assistance preparing evictions and so forth, I help her with that. But I don't necessarily, as far as the day-to-day, I don't do that.
So the answer is you do not manage the property for her, as you indicated in your complaint. You do not.
No.
Miss Lynn.
Properties.
Are they all single-family homes, or are they multiple dwellings?
Some is multiple. Some is individual and office building.
What kind of property did you rent to Miss Nunez?
It's a fourplex. It's in San Jose. It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. So 4 different apartments, Your Honor, in the same building.
She only rents one of them, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment.
1.5 bath, yeah.
You started to rent to her 3 years ago.
Yes, in November 2018.
How long had you... Don't do that, Miss Walsh. Don't do that again. Do you understand?
Yes.
Back to Miss Lynn, please. 2-bedroom apartment. Do you own all 4 units in that building?
Yes.
Her apartment was leased to her through Section 8 housing. Are the other apartments in that building leased through Section 8 housing?
No.
They are not?
No, they are not.
They're rented individually?
Yes.
Are they all 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartments?
The front one is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The 3 of the in the back is...
Just a second. The 3-bedroom apartment in the front, you have a tenant in that apartment?
Yes.
How much does that tenant pay in rent?
$3,500.
Now, the other 2 apartments, are they 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, or 3-bedroom? They're currently rented?
Yes.
And what is the rent on each of those apartments?
$2,700.
Now, when you rented to Miss Nunez through Section 8, what was the amount of rent Section 8 was paying?
Section 8, they pay me $944.
Section 8 was paying you $944.
Yes.
And how much was Miss Nunez paying you?
Supposed to pay me $1,700.
No. Don't tell me what she was supposed to pay you.
Okay.
You collected rent from her in addition to the money that you got from Section 8. How much money did you collect from her every month, 2018, 19, and 20? How much money did you collect from her?
$944.
Now, you own 40 properties. That's what you told me. All over. Is this the first time you ever rented to anyone through Section 8 housing?
No, I have several.
No, just the answer.
Okay.
The answer is no.
Yes.
So you know that Section 8 pays so much and the tenant pays so much. The first month that you collected rent from her, you collected $944, according to you. Who came up with the figure of $944?
When I go there, usually the tenants will show me the paper from the Hamu Inn. We have a walk through with the housing.
Then let me see. Let me see what paper you got from housing in 2018.
Yes.
So initially, and this is dated in 2018, this says estimated family rent to owner $1,756. Well, why didn't you collect that from her starting in 2018?
Your Honor, I was busy collect the other rent, and I didn't bring the paper with me. And I don't know how much years. When I go there collect the rent, she gave me the $944, and I believe in her. She was paid $944.
Okay, so that's what this case is all about now, because now you say she owes you $16,000 after for 3 years you've been accepting $944 from her and $944 from Section 8. That's really your responsibility, not hers. Where do you expect her to get $16,000 from? She's a Section 8, which means she can't afford to pay her rent. You accepted $944. If you wanted her to pay $1,756, she would have moved out. Who lives with you? Miss Nunez, who lives with you?
At that time, when I first met my daughter and my 2 grandkids, grandfather is in and out of the house because he lives in Manteca.
I got it. I understand you have a sore throat. All right, now we're going to mother collected $944 from the defendant and never made a demand for her to move or to be evicted. That was your job. I mean, you're the one that you say she calls on you. You're an in-house counsel as needed. So I assume as in-house counsel, you would take a look at this and say in 2018, because she's been your mother for a long time, Mom, that's the wrong rent. That's the wrong rent.
I don't do that part of it, Your Honor. I'm as needed. So my mother does everything herself as far as signing the contract.
She's not going to. Where do you expect her to get $16,000 from? She's a Section 8 housing person.
Yeah, I understand that is the amount of the claim, but I understand, Your Honor, because of filing in small claims, there's a jurisdictional limit, and we believe, so I think the most you can get is $5,000. So what I think is, since there's definitely negligence on the part of my mother as well, but she's elderly, English is not her first language, so she doesn't have a portion of negligence.
Ms.
However,
your mother owns, don't try to talk over me, your mother owns 40 income-producing properties. English may not be her first language. Money is her secondary language. She's a very smart lady.
Yes.
She collected $944 from the state and $944 from the defendant. If you're paying more in 2018, the defendant would have moved because she's a Section 8 person. She accepted $944 from her tenant for 3 years.
If I may, Your Honor?
3 years.
I have a contract actually between the two of them, between plaintiff, my mother, and the defendant, which states the amount of rent total. If I may provide that.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. A contract.
I'm sorry. There are two operative contracts. My mother executed a contract with the defendant, and then housing came in. Like I said, I'm not exactly familiar, but housing also comes in, does an inspection, and indicates what the tenant amount is to pay.
All I'm telling you is your mother accepted for 3 years in satisfaction of rent from the defendant $944 and did not make a claim for 3 years for any more. What I'm telling you is, I believe by accepting the $944 and lulling her into believing that that was the extent of her obligation, her daughter, who I understand is an attorney, is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right, Your Honor.
Who knows how to file an action to clearly, if there was a mistake, it was a mistake by both parties. So I'm asking you this question. Where do you expect a Section 8 housing person to come up with $5,000 or $16,000?
I understand, Your Honor.
The answer is nowhere. When are you moving? Because now you know. As of June, when she first came to you, then you knew for the first time that your obligation was different.
Right.
Now, in July, August, September, October, 4 months.
Right.
How much have you paid in rent?
I've paid, so my rent portion went down to $624, and I've been paying on.
Just a second. It went down to $624. What is she talking about, $624, Miss Lynn? What is she talking about?
Okay, the housing dropped the rent for her. Before I noticed, she told me her rent is dropped. So on the August, she received the housing. She said the housing email to her that her rent dropped. So I
just want to know, how much rent have you received from her in total since June?
I got let go from my job.
June.
Just a second.
I don't think I have that.
Since June, how much rent? June, July, August, accepted in rent from her in those 5 months?
So,
Ms. Walsh, you want to answer that question?
Yes, please. So, I'm sorry, Your Honor, you said which month?
Month of June. How much from the state, how much from the defendant in June?
Okay, in June was $944 from the defendant and $944 from the housing authority.
And you accepted it. In June, you accepted $944 and $944 from housing, and in June was the first time you told her she owed more money. That's according to your complaint. Let's go to July. How much did you accept in July?
So she accepted...
Come on, Ms. Walsh.
Okay.
July.
$944 from housing, $944 from the tenant. In addition, Your Honor, we also received $250, and that was acknowledgement of defendant that she did underpay Ms. Lynn. So I do have that receipt.
August.
August, she paid $1,000. second payment.
$1,756.
Yeah, seven.
She paid.
No, she paid.
I can't listen to both of you. Will somebody please tell me?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In June, when she was paying $944, Miss Walsh, coming back to you, you're the lawyer, did you bring on a proceeding to evict her?
No.
Because she agreed to make a payment.
In July,
And later today,
This is trash. This is trash that was around the beds, Your Honor.
there's something ridiculous about that. You should be embarrassed to show that to me.
April Walsh and her mother Mon Lin claim Mon's former tenant, Maria Nunez, owes for back rent.
Now, I told you, money is your mother's second language. Now,
$1,756 for August. In addition,
from whom?
From the tenant. In addition, the defendant also paid $300 on top of that.
Plus $300, and how much did she receive from Section 8?
$944.
September.
In September, the rent changed per the Housing Authority. I do have the notice here, and her portion.
Just tell me how much she received. Just tell me how much your mother received is my question.
$624.
Period?
No. And from housing is $944.
October.
She received, the total is $2,700. If you would like me to just.
But she is 22,000.
Her portion.
October.
The same amount, $2,700.
The housing pay me 2,076. The tenants pay me 624.
Did you move in June when she was paying $944? Housing was paying $944. Did you bring Miss Walsh coming back to you? The answer is either yes or no.
No,
because she agreed to make a payment.
In July, in July, she paid you $944 from housing plus an additional $250. Did you move to evict her?
No.
No, because she was making the
because
payment.
she said she's gonna make a payment for me.
No, she wasn't. No, she. Okay, she's not paying you any more money. Are you moving?
Fairly soon, yes, Your Honor.
When? Not very soon. When?
Well,
I mean, right now, they got $2,700 from you in October.
Sometime after Christmas, Your Honor. It's really hard right now to find a place. After Christmas.
That's fine.
Yes.
Right now, you're not doing badly. She's not paying you for the last 3 years. Goodbye.
Your Honor,
We're done.
may I
you.
just interject, please?
No. Bye.
But she knew that.
She stopped payment already.
I have documents that show she knew this beforehand.
She already want to pay me the
Goodbye.
When she moved in there,
Goodbye.
and she
Very
got
good.
a new.
We're done. You had a very good tenant for 3
this
years.
case is
Made a lot of money.
concluded.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused.
We believe that she just took advantage of my mother.
I did not take advantage.
Definitely participate more in her business practice.
It does kind of, hurt me a little bit that she would think that I deliberately would do this to her.
All parties in the matter of Jennings versus Rambos
is suing his former landlord, Melina Rambos, for wrongfully withholding a portion of his security deposit.
Mr. Jennings, you are suing for the return of your security deposit on an apartment that you rented from Miss Rambos.
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Rambos withheld part of your security, sending you only a small portion of it for 2 reasons. One, she said she had to pay a cleaning fee, and the next thing was she said she really gave you a break by not charging you for the whole month of June when you were actually out in June on the 15th, and you had a new tenant that moved in on the 22nd.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. So let's go back to some basics, Ms. Rambos. The defendant signed a 1-year lease with you, and he paid $1,850 for a fully furnished 1-bedroom apartment. Is that correct?
Yes, Your
He
Honor.
gave you $1,850 as a security deposit. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Correct.
He was a faithful tenant in paying his rent, and he left the apartment in very decent condition.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not causing any damage to the apartment.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you know how lucky you are when you had a tenant who paid faith and company, found dust under the bed, and you say that he's responsible for that? You're ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Giles Jennings is suing his former landlord, Melina Rambos, for wrongfully withholding a portion of his security deposit.
Now, when you re-rented the apartment to the new tenant that moved in, did you rent the apartment furnished or unfurnished?
Unfurnished.
Which means that you had to hire a moving company. Did you hire a moving company?
Correct, Your Honor.
He moved out on the 15th, am I correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
On what date did you hire the moving company?
It was on the 17th, Your Honor.
2 days later.
Yes, Your Honor.
And they removed your living room, a bedroom, and a dining area, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on what date did you hire the cleaning company?
The cleaning lady came the same day. The movers came early in the morning.
And your cleaning lady, your person,
yes,
came after the movers.
Correct.
Now, you kept some of his security deposit, you allege, for cleaning. I would like you to show me photographs of what you allege that he left in an unreasonable of his security deposit. Show me a photograph.
Yes, Your Honor. This is trash that was under the beds.
That was under the bed?
Yes.
That you moved?
Yeah, but he lived
You have
there
to give him his whole...
he lived
But
there
what did you expect him to move the bed?
This is trash that was around the beds, Your Honor.
There's something ridiculous about that. You should be embarrassed to show that to me.
Well,
you should be embarrassed to show that to me.
Your Honor.
Embarrassed. You had moving people that came in. He cleaned the apartment. Your moving people moved 3 rooms of furniture. And you're showing me dust. You're not showing me a filthy sink. You're not showing me a filthy toilet. Let me see the rest.
This is from the bathtub.
Come on.
This is
so far,
only,
that's nonsense.
This is only some pictures. I didn't take pictures of the walls. But he did leave the apartment in a good...
What are you telling me? What you're not showing me? I just want to see what you're showing me.
Okay, this is
what
just
is,
the bath.
What is that you're showing me?
This is the bathtub.
And what are you showing me on the bathtub?
There's a dirt and some marks here.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
Okay, how much does she owe you for the days, sir? For the days from the 15th?
She owes me $586.59.
$586 for the days and the cleaning fee.
Well, the total with the cleaning fee is $686.59, ma'am.
Because she charged you half of the cleaning fee.
Yes. Or she
Is
charged
that
me a $100 cleaning fee. I don't know what the total cleaning fee was.
She said it was $200. She only charged you half. She shouldn't have charged you anything. Don't you realize, Mr. Umbas, how lucky you are? In June of 2020, your apartment was really only vacant, and you weren't paid for maybe 4 days. He moved out on the 15th. You didn't get your stuff out of there till the 17th. The earliest the new people could have moved in is the 18th. They actually, according to you, moved in on the 22nd. Do you know how lucky you are? Now, when tenants aren't paying their rent, they're just staying there. Landlords can't collect rent. When you had a tenant who paid faithfully throughout his entire lease, March, April, May, part of June, he left the apartment clean. Your moving company found dust under the bed, and you say that he's responsible for that? You're ridiculous. $686. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused.
And on the next...
Have evidence in order to connect the defendant to your dead dog.
I can't find that. Can I just state something?
You can't state anything. I want to see evidence.
Judge Judy.
There has to be a cleaning fee.
I got what I was owed, and that's all I was asked for.
You could have, cleaned a little bit more.
She did send me the little pile of dust that I was like, wow, okay.
Mr. Jennings was a great tenant, and I'm surprised that we had to come here.
I'm surprised that